Hello. I haven't done a video in forever. I'm also really shiny right now. Um, so I have some stuff to talk about today. Hopefully I can stretch it. But I guess just a little update. I'm reading this book called Consumed by I don't know if I'm gonna butcher her name. Asia Barber. The need for collective change, colonialism, climate change, and consumerism. So I'm excited to read that. Um, and yeah, so I have, okay, recently I've been watching a lot of the Planet Apes movies. I'm on the third one. That's not a lot because they have four. But, um, well, there's also the old ones, but I haven't watched the old ones yet. I've been watching the Planet of the Apes movies, and when I watch something, I get really into it, and if it interests me enough, I will do my research until my brain explodes or my brain can't capture that information anymore. So I've been really into monkeys, but also the future. So basically, what I'm going to be talking about today is the downfall of humans. What? Because if you know Planet of the Apes, you know basically in that universe, the downfall of humans was trying to create a cure, which they tested on monkeys, and then that ended up being great for the monkeys, but terrible for them, and then it created like a whole, what is it, the simian flu, and it wiped out like a billion, billion people, and the monkeys were high in population. Toby's passed out. So yeah, I do want to talk about the downfall of humans. And I want to talk about, I have different points, so hopefully I am coherent and I make sense. So first I have, where are we sticking our noses? And I think that does trace back to Planet of the Apes, but that also brought me back to my favorite book, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. I don't know how to say his last name. And the Hermetica. The Hermetica has this amazing idea that I mentioned in another video. The Hermetica mentions that so many people, and this was written forever ago, so many people, we look for answers when we should kind of put our faith in the world and just accept things for as it is. And to a certain extent I agree with that, but there are things obviously we need answers for. We wouldn't have a lot of medical advancements if we didn't ask certain questions, but that also raises so many more questions. It's a whole thing. It's really a Pandora's box in general. Like, when you ask one question, you're gonna ask so many questions. It's just, you can't control it. So, what I basically meant was, where we are sticking our noses is, we try to search for answers so much, and it almost ends up becoming one of our biggest downfalls. An example would be the nuclear bomb. There's a lot of examples, but I want to talk about the nuclear bomb because I've mentioned it in another video. You can look at it in two ways. We were so caught up in a war and the death toll and how long it lasted, that as a collective United States, well, not really necessarily the people, more so the government, we decided to put funding into creating a nuclear bomb, which changed war and history forever. It killed, I don't know the exact amount of people, but I want to say thousands of people, if not more. And that creation of the nuclear bomb either A, has, I mentioned this in another video, stopped war because it the danger of the nuclear bomb is so extreme that countries understand if war were to break out, it would kill us all, which is the downfall of humanity. If we created something, all we're doing in life is creating something to kill us, or we're killing ourselves. Um, so you can look at the nuclear bomb in two ways. It will kill us, but it has also created some sort of peace, so we ensure not to kill us. But guess what? The end result for both is that we all die because we created something that kills us. Um, I'm trying to think of another example. There are so many examples. In the Sapiens novel, he mentions healthcare and how we've made so many advancements, especially through healthcare, because back then the expected life, oh my god, what's the word? The expected like life expectancy? What am I saying? Was you used to have it around like the 50s to the 30s, the 30s to 50s, which never meant you were like 30 and you died. It just meant a lot of children died, so it lowered the median. And now, not a lot of children die, and it's more accessible to have your child see a doctor. So our life expectancy is so much higher because people are living longer because of the medicine that we are creating and providing, and the new medical funding that we're getting. Well, we're not really getting new medical funding, but the more funding that is going into medical and medical research, and the more children are being taken care of in a world like this. And it's like we're trying to solve so many problems, and he mentions that he doesn't mention the idea that we're trying to solve too many problems, but he mentions the idea that in the future we're going to live so much longer. And for me, it's why do we need to live so much longer? For me, 80 years, that's the perfect. Once I hit 80, I don't expect to live longer than that. I'm sorry, maybe it's a little dark. If I hit 80, I'm not going to be like, kill me now. No, I'm just like, I've had a good life. 80 years, that's a lot of years. That's almost a century. Like 80 years. For us to want to be youthful and to look Ozempic, that's a whole different thing. There's so many medical things that we're like, it's going to benefit us. It's going to do this for us. We're going to live longer. We're going to be healthier. Obviously, we should be healthier, but that's a whole different topic because we have literally one of the worst diets in America. Doctors literally refer to it as a typical American diet because it is so bad. We've created a culture in medicine that I don't think is necessarily healthy because we're always trying to look to solve a problem, which is good because it's going to help people, but not everything is for the better. Look, if we were to put funding into space, there's so many things that we could put funding into that could go extremely wrong. And it's just that idea that we're putting our noses and we're trying to figure out life when, to a certain extent, we need to understand that life is so miraculous and just rare in general that sometimes we don't need answers. We really don't need answers sometimes. Sometimes it is that beautiful, like, what's it called? Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. And when you don't have all that money being put into something, it's just crazy. We are sticking our noses where we shouldn't. That's basically my point. I don't know if I made sense, but that's what I'm trying to say. My next point was where we are investing our money. I think that goes to the same point. We are investing our money in some terrible places. U.S. funding, government funding. Oops, I don't know the statistics, so I can't really speak on it. I'm sorry. I know I'm making a video talking about the downfall of humanity and what it could eventually be, or what could eventually cause it. But government funding in the United States, or maybe in other countries too, I'm not necessarily sure, is all over the place. In Sapiens, Yuval Noah mentions that there's a lot of money that is put towards science and trying to make advances. Although some people don't see it, it's like, it's like, it's that same idea that I was mentioning before. We're trying to stick our noses in a place that we're like, do we really need? And I think one idea that I could bring to mind is like AI. Yes, AI can. Okay, there's also an idea in Sapiens where Yuval Noah mentions that with certain advancements, it's gonna take jobs away, but it's 100% gonna bring more jobs in, which is wonderful. We always need people, and we all need jobs. Okay, that's how our economy works. And with AI, it's going to be applied so much to science, and it's going to answer so many more questions. And so many people are investing their money in AI. If you are into stocks and you haven't invested your money into AI, then I don't think you're into stocks, because investing your money into AI is probably one of the wisest things you could do, but it's also probably one of the riskier sides of things because you don't know where it's going to end up. But what I'm trying to say is, with the advancements of AI, we're going to be placed into the medical field, into science, and it's going to give us answers about things that I don't think we should necessarily have answers to. If I, as a human, did not come to that conclusion, we should leave it at that. We should leave it at that because we are trying to be too smart. I do think there is a thing as too smart. You can comment, debate me. I don't like to say debate because it's not really a debate. Just have an educated conversation because I would like to learn if you do think otherwise. But it's always that we're trying to be so smart and have an answer for something, when in reality, I think we need to be so in the present. We need to be so present in our lives. And when you see, you know what, a part of me really loves religious people. Not someone who's going to shove it in your face. There's people like that. We all live different lives. Part of me loves religious people because there is so much faith in, sometimes I don't know, and sometimes things happen, but it's putting your faith into something that is so beautiful that so many people do not do nowadays. It's always an I want an answer, I want an answer, I want an answer. And it's the way that we work, and it's like, it's gonna ruin us because we're gonna have too much information. And I think that goes into my next topic. It says wanting to be a top beast almost stupidly and egotistically, because I think it is crazy the amount of, like, I'm not saying research is necessarily bad. I'm not saying research, oh my god, Toby, cover yourself up. I'm not saying research is necessarily bad, but what we're doing with our lives is we're gonna have too much information. It's you see it a lot, I feel like, in sci-fi, where there's someone who's just too knowledgeable and they get killed. That's gonna happen to us. It's gonna have to happen to us eventually. I think that's one of our downfalls. Is we want so many answers and we're gonna get them and we're not gonna like them. I think we need to understand that that's that. I want to talk about the topic of aliens. Aliens is a huge topic because it's like a big thing with the government, with people being like, I was abducted by aliens in Missouri, in Alabama, on my farm, and they left circles. I do believe aliens exist in such a vast is vast the right word? In such a vast universe, we are not the only life. 100%. 100%. I do believe if you think we are the only life in the universe, you are a little... You need to do more research. Because there's no way we are the only people. And we are this... We are this. So many people want that search for aliens, but you shouldn't have it. It's that, I believe in aliens. Am I going to actively search for them? No! If they have not come to us and we have not gone to them, there is 100% a reason. 100%. It's like a 3 rules of aliens. It's like, we're smarter than them. Crazy. They're smarter than us and they have visited us, and they probably just didn't like us, or like decided not to do anything. And we just don't have collective history about that. Or, what was the other one? I don't know. It's the whole 3 rule thing. But basically, one of them is like they haven't visited us, and if they do, they are 100% smarter than us, and they could kill us. And it's that thing like, we don't need to have all of that, because that's just literally fear-mongering. That's literally all just fear-mongering. If you believe in something, believe in it, and that's it. Not everything needs proof. We live in a world where everything needs proof, and it's like so crazy. Why do you need proof? I was gonna talk about something else, but I can't remember. I don't remember what I was gonna talk about. I was gonna talk about like an animal or something. I don't know, but so much of us just want answers to things when we don't need them at all. We should just mind our own business, because that's what's best for us, for the most part. I literally had something else to talk about, and it was going to open a whole nother gateway for me. Oh my god, what was I thinking about? I have no clue. I feel so stupid, and I don't want to sit here and think, because I'm not going to edit this video, and I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes trying to think about what I was going to say. I do have other texts back here, but they're like not really necessarily the downfall of humans. I do also think that the downfall of humans is gonna come in a way where we I feel really stupid right now. Um we are just Oh, I know what I was gonna talk about. Endangered and more so extinct animals. The mammoth is an example. I don't know what advancements have been made with that whole scientific thing where they found a baby mammoth in Syria. I don't know where they found the baby mammoth. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But they found it like, God, forever ago, I'm pretty sure. Because I think I heard about it in like junior high or elementary school. I want to say I heard about it in elementary school, and I'm already done with high school. And I don't know, like they were gonna try to like inject it into like a regular elephant, and like over time we were gonna have a mammoth, and stuff like that. When an animal goes extinct, it is sad. It is 100% sad, but it happened for a reason. Things happen for a reason, and I don't think we let that go. We as a society, we need to let things go, especially with animals. We need to understand that we coexist in this world with animals, They are not here for us and we are not here for them. We just merely live two separate lives. There are domesticated animals that, obviously, dogs are like, what, on the Sapiens book he mentions that dogs are like literally like have been our best friends forever. There's animals that have been domesticated for so many years that it's just, it's principle now. But there are animals that we should just really leave alone, especially animals that have been dead for thousands and thousands of years. Because, yes, would it be amazing to have a mammoth and understand their animal ways and their history and all of that because it's live in front of you when it died thousands of years ago? That is incredible. That's literally insane that we have made such advancements in science for that. But did we need it? Then again, there are answers that we don't necessarily need. Look, history is such a guess game, which I love. I love that history is such a guess game because there are facts, and then there's some things where you're just like, this happened, but we don't know why. And I think that's the beautiful thing. And I think so many people try to put answers, and it's like, it's fun to guess. It's really fun to guess. And I think when you try to bring an extinct animal back to life, you are, I want to say this in a religious way, but you are messing with God or like the fate of the universe because it happened already and you need to let it go. What we should be putting our money and time into is actually helping animals that are endangered right now. Yes, wouldn't that be so much smarter, guys? Let's think about it. That would be a lot smarter than trying to bring back an animal from the dead. Literally, oh my god, that's literally how a horror movie starts. Like, why are we doing that? Frankenstein. Dude, I'm gonna make Frankenstein the mammoth version. Franken mammoth. That's gonna be the new thing. Because I'm telling you guys, like, it's literally like in history books, like you should not be bringing back things from the dead. It's a whole thing. You're not necessarily bringing it back from the dead, but you're resurrecting a species that went extinct. And that being said, like I said, we should be putting more of our time and energy into animals that are endangered, and that are some of our closest relatives. So many. I've been watching these freaking Planet of the Apes movies, and I've been in this like monkey deep dive, and ape deep dive, and it's like those are some of our closest relatives. They hold some of the most insane brain chemistry, the most insane habits, and we have some of like we share common DNA. My favorite line from the Sapiens book. I know I mentioned this book a lot. Just wait until I get my hands on what is it? Homo Deus? I don't remember the name of the book. Amadeus. Just wait till I get my hands on the second version where he talks about the future. Because I'm gonna be all over it and you're not gonna stop hearing from me. But anyways, we share, in the book he says, what is it, like I always forget the number. Something billion years ago, a mother gave birth to two sisters. One is the mother of a chimpanzee, like the mother of the chimpanzees, and one is our ancestor. And it's like we share so much similar DNA with apes. And it's like we don't necessarily care about them. We obviously care about them towards science, but we care about them in such an we don't care about them in such an odd way. I have a whole other thing to get into, but like gorillas are like seen, they're so often demonized, and it's like it's so crazy because I've been watching so many videos, and literally anyone who like works with gorillas will literally tell you they're like some of the nicest creatures that they haven't ever seen or like heard of a gorilla killing a person. because well probably like if they no I don't think they said that, and if I'm wrong then I don't care. Um, that like well obviously gorillas are plant eaters. They're not carnivores. They're not gonna eat you. There's been chimpanzees who have eaten and killed the gorilla, but gorillas are very gentle creatures. Um, Male gorillas, when a female gives birth to a baby gorilla, and if the female dies, the leader of the male gorilla group will care for the baby because he is obviously seen as the big man. He's gonna have more access to food, and he's gonna give that baby more food and take care of it just because the mother died. Even if the dominant male gorilla is not related to or the father of the child, he is still going to care for that baby because that's how they are. They're very um, caring and big, gentle, giant creatures. And that brought me back into a deep dive about Harambe. I was watching the Harambe video, and it's like, bruh, they literally killed that gorilla for nothing. Okay, he does drag the kid to the water, but he picks him up. He literally picks him up, checks his clothes, and then you can tell in the gorilla's eyes, he's literally like, why is this kid here? Like, he shouldn't be here. He's very like the only time he's probably like not gentle is when he's dragging the kid in the water, but he's not like drowning it. He's just like come here, like what the hell? And then he like picks it up and he's like he doesn't go like this with the kid, but he like picks up the kid and he's like, I think he kind of taps it, and it's like we we treat animals in such a terrible way. Back to my point, it's like we we see them below us. We do not coexist with animals like we should be doing. Um, Keeping exotic creatures as pets is like one thing that I really dislike. You should not be doing that. I don't know why you're doing that. They're not pets for a reason. I'm all for pushing the limits in society, but that has to do with humans. You should be pushing the limits with humans. Maybe research on animals, but when you're pushing the limits and trying to keep an live tiger, a live chimpanzee, chimpanzees are some of the more violent apes. When you're trying to keep one of those in your backyard, you should not be pushing those limits. They're limits for a reason. Like, oh, it just bothers me. Because we think of ourselves so highly and we think that we're these great creatures. We too are apes, by the way. We're considered, if you watch like any like ape expert, or like what are they called? I don't know. If you watch any ape experts, they will like 100% say there's like the chimpanzees, the bonobos, orangutans, gorillas, and then us. Um, we are apes, and it's just because we were able to evolve in a different manner. And it's like that's all. That's the only thing that's ever made us different. Apes have culture. Apes share different things. They're very advanced for. They all have different things that they do. They live in different regions, and each region can have its own culture. They're very similar to humans, yet we undermine them and we almost abuse the fact that we have evolved in a different manner, and we do that to a lot of animals, not just apes. We we abuse that fact, like literally. I'm just going to repeat myself, that we have abused that fact that we have evolved in a different manner, and we make it every animal's problem, which is genuinely so stupid of us. Like even dogs and cats, there are some people who shouldn't have dogs and cats, yet they do, and that's crazy to me. But I'm not gonna talk a lot about that. I wanted to talk about something else. It is like we are the same creature. We have just evolved differently. One of my favorite facts, in Sapiens, yes, I'm gonna mention it again, is if anything, we are like my favorite part of like human evolution is that standing up, you need to have, is it narrow hips? You need to have narrower hips, I believe, or we evolved with narrower hips. I can't speak. For a certain reason, I'm pretty sure it's because we were standing all the time. Because usually you see monkeys, they have wider hips, and we have a lot narrower hips. And with that, childbirth became so extreme and painful. That's why it is 100% painful for women, and a lot of women would die earlier on. So, evolutionary wise, we started giving birth pre. What's it called? Just before the baby should technically be born. So, every baby that is born is technically premature. Um, like, technically, like, when an animal gives birth, there are certain animals who, like, yes, the baby is still raised with the mother, but there are also many other animals who the baby after 5 months can leave the house, or like leave its mom and like go venture off itself. We as humans, like, that's not, we don't do that until we're 18. Obviously, a woman's not going to give birth to a full adult, but human culture is just so different, and it's like, really, we're just the same creature. We just decided to stand up one day and move around the world. That's why we all look different, just because of our different environments. I read in the novel, or where did I read? I saw it Reddit somewhere, that people with wider, like, nose holes are more adapted to heat. Oh, I almost choked right now. To warmer climates, because you need to breathe in more air. When people with nose or like narrower noses are more adapted to survive in colder climates, because the air is so cold. So it's like, you know, we all breathe the same. It's just we have all evolved differently. And I went off on a rampage, but I guess I could tie that back to the fact that we as humans, we have all evolved differently. We all look a different way. We're all different from one another, yet we all treat each other in the same kind of, I don't know where I was going, the same manner. Yet, because apes look different, or like more different from us, and don't speak our language, even though we share such common DNA with them, it's like we can put them in a Zoom, we can look at them. That's a whole crazy thing for humans. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is the downfall of humans is 100% going to come from us and the very stupid things that we do. I'm not saying I'm not stupid. I'm saying we're all a little stupid. And we're just going to destroy ourselves. And it's happened a lot. It's happened a lot. It's going to happen. No matter what, we're going to destroy ourselves. That's just the inevitable truth. In Sapiens, he mentions that Homo erectus, which was, I'm pretty sure, one of the more advanced primates that started only walking on twos, which was called erectus because it was like, it, you know. It lived for over 2 million years, which is a time that we are never going to live. Like, 2 million years is crazy. We're not going to reach that point. And eventually another species of human that will evolve is going to overtake us. Or we're going to do dinosaurs and we're just going to completely wipe ourselves out with a nuke. But I don't know. It's just, something's going to happen. This world is not going to be too good. We're asking too many questions. We're trying to make too many advancements that another species will be coming. Not in the next 20 years, not in the next 100 years. It's going to take time, but it is going to happen. And I think we are so egotistical and almost like narcissistic that we're like, that's not going to happen. We are the best. We are the best species in the world. That's crazy that we think about that. That's literally, that is some form of like insanity. that believing that we are the best species in the world and we're testing on animals, like, that is crazy. Like, I'm not gonna say certain things, but if you would think about that in a different manner, you're gonna look at history and you're gonna say, "Oh wow, we look really bad." But it's just we're gonna ruin ourselves, for the better, for the worse. We don't know. History might repeat itself. We don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen, but it's like it's obviously gonna be our fault. So yeah, that's all I have to say today. I talked for a lot longer than I thought I was. It's 35 minutes. So thank you for listening to me. Have a beautiful day. Hopefully, see, every time I watch like a movie, I like get a huge urge to talk. So, hopefully I watch another movie soon where I can just yap it up. But thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading recently. School, man. I'm not even gonna apologize. I go to school full time, and I'm gonna start working part time. Where's my time? I don't know. I wish I had myself. I could ask myself the same question. But yeah, thank you. Bye.